Kim Woo-bin and Shin Min-are never tried to convince the public that their love was special. They never sold it, never staged it, and never rushed it. So when news quietly confirmed that the two had tied the knot in a closed-door ceremony, the reaction wasn't shock, it was recognition. For many fans, it felt like the most natural ending to a story that had been unfolding quietly for nearly a decade. There was no countdown to the wedding. No glossy pre-wedding interviews. No dramatic reveal. Instead, the news surfaced gently, almost cautiously, just as their relationship had always existed. Confirmed, not announced. Shared, not displayed. It was a private ceremony held in Seoul, attended only by close family members and a small circle of trusted friends. No press. No cameras. No audience beyond the people who had been part of their lives long before fame complicated everything. For a couple who had spent years protecting their personal space, the choice felt deliberate. Kim Woo-bin and Shin Min-are didn't owe the world a spectacle. Their relationship had already survived the things that truly mattered: time, pressure, uncertainty, and fear. The wedding wasn't about proving love. It was about honoring it. To understand why this closed-door ceremony resonated so deeply, you have to go back to how their story began. When they confirmed their relationship in 2015, it was done without fanfare. No dramatic statements, no denial then reveal cycle. Just confirmation. At a time when celebrity relationships were often treated as fleeting or strategic, theirs stood out for how quietly confident it felt. Over the years, they continued to move the same way. Rare public appearances together. No shared social media posts crafted for attention. When asked in interviews, they spoke respectfully, carefully, never overexposing what they had clearly decided to protect. And fans noticed. Slowly, their relationship became less about curiosity and more about admiration. Then came the moment that changed everything. When Kim Woo-bin was diagnosed with nasopharyngeal cancer, the industry paused. For fans, the news was heavy and frightening. For Shin Min, it was a private reality she stepped into without hesitation. While Kim Woo-bin stepped away from the spotlight to focus on treatment and recovery, she remained beside him, not publicly, not performatively, but consistently. There were no dramatic public gestures. No emotional interviews. Just time, patience, and presence. In many ways, that period redefined how fans viewed their relationship. It stopped being a celebrity love story and became something more human. More real. So when Kim Woo-bin eventually returned to acting, healthier and steadier, fans didn't just celebrate his comeback. They celebrated the quiet strength of the relationship that had carried him through. And through it all, Shin Min remained exactly where she had always been, beside him, without needing recognition for it. That context is what made the closed-door wedding feel so earned. By the time December arrived, their relationship no longer felt like something in progress. It felt complete. Not finished, but fulfilled. So instead of turning their wedding into a public milestone, they chose to make it personal. Those invited were people who had seen the journey up close, family members, longtime friends, and colleagues who understood what the moment truly represented. According to multiple industry insiders and fans who were present nearby, the wedding was held at a private venue in Seoul known for hosting discreet high-profile events. Security was tight, but not dramatic. There were no barricades, no flashing lights, no obvious signs that a celebrity wedding was happening. And that, many believe, was intentional. What made the day especially intriguing was how guests arrived. Instead of a single dramatic entrance, attendees reportedly came in small groups or individually, carefully spaced out over time. Fans who happened to be in the area later shared that they noticed familiar faces, actors, longtime collaborators, and close friends of the couple, entering quietly, often dressed simply, blending in as much as possible. Among the names fans speculated were in attendance were actors Kim So-hyun, Point, Lee Kwang-soo, inside and the private space, all known the atmosphere to be close to was Kim described by those present as calm. None of these appearances were officially confirmed at the time. There was no excess, but fans pointed out familiar silhouettes, no attempt to turn the moment into something larger than it was, that strongly suggested their presence. Kim Woo-bin and Shin Min-it are stood together not as stars. Fans believe several actress friends who had already experienced life's extremes together, choosing to attend without drawing attention to themselves and healing. What stood out to many observers was the absence of industry spectacle. His presence was symbolic of celebrity status, but of genuine friendship, no luxury brand placements, warmth and familiarity. The wedding grounding the ceremony as a media moment rather than formality. It was clearly meant to be personal. Guests later shared that inside the venue, sincere, those familiar with the event described quiet emotion as and gratitude rather than grandeur. When official wedding photos were eventually released, it was intimate. Finally saw what the couple had chosen to share. Understated decor, the images were restrained yet focused less on performance and more elegant on meaning. Without excess. Every element and reflected the couple stood out immediately for sincerity over show. Soft snow framed the couple shared quietly, creating a visual ceremony that felt less like a celebrity wedding and more like a family gathering. Many fans described it as cinematic. Kim Woo-bin was described a drama as visibly emotional dialogue to communicate its meaning. Shin Min-it the imagery resonated because it mirrored the relationship itself, warmly, calm, taking time to acknowledge everyone beautiful who had been part of their journey. Shin Min-it's gown reflected his signature that many fans found especially touching was rather than trendy itself told a story. There was nothing overpowering about it. Nearly everyone believed everything about it felt had known the couple for years. Kim Woo-bin stood beside her with industry that fans described as grounded and peaceful. They were people who had seen the relationship to the uncertainty through that once surrounded his public scrutiny, illness, the response online was immediate and emotional. That context gave the ceremony weight. Fans across countries shared congratulations. Fans who later discussed the wedding online noted how different the journey that led from other celebrity weddings. Many expressed gratitude. There were no immediate lead for seeing a relationship that survived pressure without spectacle. No rush to be the first to gratitude for witnessing love. It was almost never marketed. Those who attended understood the importance of protecting the moment. In the context of Korean entertainment, those familiar with the ceremony beyond personal happiness and intimate. It challenged long-standing norms about celebrity relationships. Every detail showed that longevity doesn't require constant visibility. This wasn't about showcasing success or status. That it was about marking validation that had already been lived privately for years. And Shin Min-it when the first official confirmation reached the public, they didn't respond to public with an overwhelming sense of respect. They waited until life felt settled, demanding until health was restored. Many expressed gratitude that the couple had done things their own way. That patience became the foundation of their union, where so much is consumed instantly. Their decision to keep the wedding closed felt almost refreshing. Projects remain lined up. When wedding photos were eventually shared, they reflected the same quiet elegance. But there is now a new layer to their story. Nothing extravagant on speculation, but just two people standing comfortably beside each other. This wedding wasn't just a milestone. The images didn't feel staged. Proof that some stories are worth waiting for. And that, more than anything, proof that consistency matters more than visibility. What made this wedding particularly meaningful proof that was love can grow quietly and still endure. On December 20th, the wedding symbolized something rare in celebrity culture. Get married. Longevity without performance. They affirmed 10 years of choosing each other. A relationship that didn't rely on public validation to survive. And without compromise. One that grew slowly and in an industry defined by constant attention. Naturally. Their quiet ending, even after the wedding, became one of the loudest statements of all. I didn't suddenly change how they moved. There was no sudden openness, no shift toward public couple branding. They continued exactly as before, focused on their individual careers, selective with appearances, grounded in their choices. And perhaps that consistency is what makes their story so powerful. Because in a world where love is often rushed, displayed, and consumed, there's unfolded at its own pace. It wasn't built for headlines. It was built for life. The closed door at their wedding wasn't about secrecy. It was about boundaries. About choosing which moments belong to the world and which belong